Blessings in abundance. First thing I want to tell you is stop dry snitching on yourself when it comes to credit. If you pay off a outstanding debt, don't allow it to be known to the credit bureaus. Never let the credit bureaus know that you paid off an outstanding debt. Don't do that. And I know a lot of people pride themselves like, hey, I just owe $8,000 and I paid it off. Oh, my student loan, I've been paying off my student loan. I'm looking good. I want that to show on my report. You know, when you show that you had an outstanding debt, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. If you was on the streets and you owed somebody $4,000, right? And you did pay it back, though. It just took you a long time to pay it back. But shit, you paid it back. You feel good that you paid it back, correct? You definitely feel good that you paid it back. But here's the issue with that. When it's time for you to borrow money from someone else, the word that went around the block that, yo, even though the person did pay it back, it took them mad long to pay it off. So you still lose some level of credibility. So what would be best? It'd be best if no one even knew you ever owed anybody any money. If it was outstanding. So when it comes to the credit bureaus, what I'm telling you is you don't want to be in a situation where, let's say you paid off your student loan. You don't want that on your credit report because it brings down your score. Paying off an outstanding debt will bring your score down. How about that? I'll say it again. Paying off an outstanding debt will bring your score down. Doesn't that sound crazy? Don't that sound crazy? Yeah. And think about the logic. What I'm telling you is perfectly logical. I'm not making it up. It is best for no one to know you ever owed money and took a long time to pay it than for you to get the credit for paying something off. You know, people be proud like, I paid off $10,000 that I want that on my report. Yeah, and now nobody wants to loan you money. And your credit score or your credibility is shot because it took you so long to pay it off. So I'm just giving you some more data that I didn't put in my previous stream, and I'll recap on some of the other data that I put out there. So rule number 1, if you pay off an outstanding debt, make sure you make it clear to the credit bureau, I don't want it on record that I paid it off, because it is better for no one to know you ever owed money than them to know it took you a long time to pay it off. That will definitely drop your credit score. Also, keep in mind, for those of you that are in debt, that there's a statute of limitations on debt. How about that? So that means that every state has an expiration date to which end it's illegal to ask you to pay off a debt because it expired already. So let's think about this. Let's go a little step further. If you get called from someone other than the entity that you owe the money to, that is a sign that the debt expired or is about to expire. What does that mean? Let's say you owe American Express money, but American Express is not the one that calls you. A third-party debt collector calls you. That means American Express sold the debt over to the third party for as low as probably even 5%, maybe 10%. So let's say you owe $20,000 and a third party calls on their behalf because you owe $20,000. Then what that means is American Express probably sold it to them for $1,000. And this is why they do the crackhead shit. What do I mean by the crackhead shit? You owe $20,000, right? So then they add surcharges and late fees and penalties, and now you owe like $28,000, $30,000 because it took so long for you to pay it. But for some reason, if you decide or agree that you could pay it off, suddenly you only have to pay them $5,000 or $6,000 and it'll get rid of the debt. Now, what kind of motherfucker out here do you owe $20,000 to that made it where you have to pay them back even more than $20,000 that's willing to take $6,000 or $5,000? Who you know that you could owe $20,000 to, but they don't mind if you just give them $5,000 or $6,000 and all will be forgiven? That's because they bought the damn debt for 5% that of the amount that was due. And when the third party creditor calls you, whenever someone calls you that you didn't go into an agreement with. That means that the debt was sold to them. They're going to write it off in their taxes. So first of all, let's say it's American Express, Wells Fargo, whoever you owe money to, they're already writing that off. That shit is a gift. It's off their books. Boom. The third party now is a crackhead. They done bought the debt for $500, $600. Here go the crackhead price. So let's see if we can get you for the exact amount. But if we can't, let's work out an arrangement where you don't even have to pay us everything. And then boom. So look at two things that's going to happen. Let's say you work out a deal. You owe $20,000, but you work out a deal. You're only paying $4,000. They already beat you in the head. They already got you. They already beat you up. Now the next thing that's going to happen is what? Well, it's also on your credit that you paid it off. So they bust your ass twice. Because again, remember, you don't want the credit for paying off outstanding debts because you lose credibility. Because if word goes around, damn, you owe such and such down the block $12,000. And though you did pay it off, it's going to make people cringe at the idea of loaning you money, because in the hood it's like, damn, they owed you 12? Yeah, but yeah, I paid everything off. Yeah, but the fact that you didn't pay it off in time makes people like, well, why am I give you anything? And that's what happens in the credit world. So you always want to tell transparent Equifax, you always want to communicate with them and let them know, oh yeah, I did pay my student loan off, but I don't want the credit for it. Strike it from my record, make it as though it never even existed. Many people want it to show up on their record and their credit score goes down. Never let it show up on your record that you paid off your credit, your outstanding debt. One. And two, if the actual entity that you went into contract with is not the one contacting you about the debt, then that debt has been solicited. It has been sold to a third party, and that's illegal, which means you don't even have to pay for the debt. Once the third party calls you, and says, oh, we're here to collect on behalf of, oh, so send me the original agreement then. They can't because it was sold already. Same thing with how you stop a foreclosure. Ask them for the original note. The note has already been solicited. It's already been hypothecated. The mortgage note has already been sold. So the lender, right, doesn't have the original agreement because they sold it to someone else to make the money. And just in doing that, you could slow down a foreclosure, if not stop it, inside of 2 to 3 years. Now, I dropped out of school, and I always want to make it clear to you guys that you need to go to people that are credentialed, that went to school for way more years than I did, because I only did like 2-3 months in 10th grade, so I'm damn near a 9th grader. I'm not a financial advisor. Anything I say, please double check it with people that are credentialed. They may not know what I'm talking about, but they could do a form of reverse osmosis, so if you give them the truth, they can reverse engineer it or work backwards and find out that it's true. So nonetheless, just for the record, I'm not a financial advisor, but I have the right to share my experience, and you have the right to double check anything that I share as an experience so it qualifies. But I'm just doing this to give you guys free information so you can stop being caught up out there. Oh, yeah, you can start pushing this through. This motherfucker getting hot. But yeah, I just decided to randomly do it. But you can hit me at brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Leave your full name and your phone number if you're ready to purchase our credit restoration service. This is just some free information, so you're not completely asked out by the time you get with me. But of course, I am closing out the program, but what I'm doing in the closeout is providing mentorship, direction, so you don't mess up your credit a second time. And when you get access to the funds, because when you purchase the credit restoration service from us for $2,000, when you purchase it for $2,000, we get you access to anywhere between $100,000 to $300,000 inside of 45 to 60 business days. Maybe a little bit more, give or take, depending on the person's circumstances and the state of the world, because the state of the world is always being leveraged as a great excuse. But nonetheless, inside of 45 to 60 business days, you'll have access to 6 figures. And what I'm doing in the close of the program is walking you through the process so you don't mess up your credit again. And 2, don't blow the money because you don't know what to do with it. But I will always suggest to you to beseech the likes of people that are credentialed in terms of finances. Beseech the advice of CPAs and accountants, because these people went to school to qualify anything that I teach about, because it's just the right thing to say. You know what I'm saying? I disagree with what I'm saying, but I have to say it for the record. You know what I'm saying? Because those niggas ain't teach me shit. All these people that went to school for all these damn years ain't teaching nobody shit. Like, where they at? You know? Where are they actually at? But anyway, The class is going to start back up in August. I was taking a break, undergoing different projects. So don't worry about that. Class will start back again. But again, you go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number. Brother, Polight. Leave your full name and your phone number when you are ready to purchase. You don't have to call us and tell us you'll be ready 2 weeks from now, 3 days from now, next weekend, when you're ready to purchase. And what you're purchasing is our ability to remove negative items off your report. We'll add positive items to your report. I didn't get to really go through that thoroughly the last program. By adding positive items to your report, a positive item being added to your report can be something as simple as an email, a phone number, or a new mailing address. These are things that can actually cause your credit score to go low. I know that sounds crazy, but these are the top 3 identifiers for bureaus to see what your credit history is like. So that's why a lot of times when I work with people, I have them get a new phone number that's not attached to no previous history, and then set up a new email, because when you set up a new email, they ask for a new phone number. So set up a new email, and you're going to attach a new phone number, and then I have them get a new address, because the new address, they're going to ask you for the email and the phone number, which will both be new. And so what's going to take place with your new phone number, new email, and new address in that order, there's no history attached to it. Okay? And with no history being attached to those 3 things, we can start off on a clean slate, so everything I show you how to do can be connected to that without issue. Okay? That's just an example. But anyway, if I'm walking you through the process, I'll let you know when it's suffice to do any of that. But what we're doing is leveraging your newly found credit disposition after we do the work. So not only will you have a higher set of credit scores. I don't say a higher credit score. I hate when people talk about it in singular, because it's several credit scores. You actually have over 30 different credit scores. Most people only know about TransUnion, Sperry, Equifax, and FICO. So therefore, people who think they have good credit, they tell me all the time, but Polight, I got good credit, so I just want to get access to the money. Oh, you probably got bad credit, because there are many people who can have a 640, 680 credit score, and they got more concessions or more privileges than the person who has a 750 credit score. A lot of you that got 750 credit scores can't even get $200,000 loans or $250,000 loan, which should be easy. Can't get a black card. Can't get a metal credit card, you know what I'm saying, which is unlimited. You know what I'm saying? My joint is unlimited. This goes clank, clank, okay? This is a weapon at this point, this type of situation here, right? So many people don't have unlimited credit cards or black cards, but they so-called got good credit. And that's because something as simple as your address can be hindering you because they have credit card redlining, which is areas that they redline to hinder people from having opportunities that other people have, because they can't deny you of credit based on your race, but they can't deny you of credit opportunities or loans or higher amounts based on your zip code. But guess what? Races exist in clusters and zip codes. So they technically are hindering people based on their race, because races exist in groups per each zip code. You guys are alive. You know how that works. So what we would say is get a FedEx, UPS mailing address, not a United States Postal Office address, not a P.O. box. And the bureaus interpret those addresses as residential or business. So if you're at a new mailing address where the median income or the average income is over $100,000 more than the last place that they had on record for you living at, then it looks good and they'll boost your credit 75 or more points higher. 50 to 75 plus, I should say, higher, just for changing your mailing address and getting it out of a red line area in an area that has a higher income. Do that like now. Like, this is free information that's going to put your credit up 50 plus 75 inside of 60 days. This is a fact, okay, because it's credit card redlining. There's a map where they decide, oh, we shitting on everybody in that area. And then there's the other part of the map where it's like, oh, if it's not the red line, you good money. So what you're going to do is set up the right type of mailing address, or you can set up a mailbox at your local city hall, because that's also a good address. And after you've been there for 2 months or so with that mailing address, they're going to look at it and say, damn, this person has managed to survive or thrive in a neighborhood that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars more or tens of thousands of dollars more than where they previously had 2 months ago. They must be able to be trustworthy. You see how that works? So these are things you could do. And this is what we mean by adding a positive item. So adding positive items can be as technical as you setting up a private interest holdings or a solo tax lien trust fund or a sovereign irrevocable private trust, and then stipulating for the record that you have this type of business account for whatever purposes it serves. And that will boost your credit up 50 plus points. Just adding a positive item like a new business, but a certain type of business, to your credit report. And then also getting a credit line for your business can impact you personally. That's adding a positive item. But positive items can be anything as minuscule as a phone number, as an email address, or a physical address. And anything is more technical, as a certain type of trust fund, or even setting up a certain type of retirement account like a QRP or qualified retirement plan, which is a cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plan. And the reason why you would want to set that up anyway, because let's say you get your monies and you access $200,000 after we help you get the approval for the loans. What's going to happen? Then I would say, per my experience, not suggestion, right? Or in a mentorship, I would say, hey guys, this is what I've done. I set up a QRP or qualified retirement plan, which is a cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plan, because when I invest, and let's say you get the money, I might be like, well, you know what's cool is investing in past due delinquent property taxes, tax liens. So you get $200,000, I'd be like, man, put at least 50 bands into past due delinquent property taxes, tax liens. Now the issue with that is this: there's going to be, you want to provide for a tax shelter, and you want to yield as much as profit as possible, right? So if you set up a retirement account and you allocate your revenue streams into the retirement account, you're good money. But then with these retirement accounts, if you endeavor to pull money out, then what do? They penalize you, so it costs you money to take money out your retirement account. But if you set up a qualified retirement plan or QRP, right, which is a cash and tax deferrable compensation arrangement plan, I say it over and over so you can commit it to memory, or just be familiarized with it. If you set up a QRP, then guess what happens? Well, firstly, the taxation is going to be totally different because it's a retirement account. And if you set up a QRP, it allows you to behave as a trustee over your own account. So unlike a traditional retirement account or individual retirement account or IRAs and Roths that penalize you if you look to pull any money out, and they only really allow you to take money out without penalty if it's a distribution, meaning if you're going to use it for like maybe medical purposes or real estate, you can actually pull your monies out with the QRP because it allows you to behave as a trustee of your own retirement account. So now it's like you're a CEO, so to speak, of your retirement account, because your retirement account is functioning as a business. You also want to put some bread into stocks, because when you work for a job, that's basically what they're doing. They're investing your monies into stocks to help give you your retirement funds. And they give you a small percentage of the money that they're making off of the dividends. So you might as well invest in dividend-bearing stocks when you get your monies, so you can yield those additional percentages on a year-to-year basis, or on every quarter. If you're dealing with the dividends that pay you out on every 3 months, and then on a per annual basis, hopefully you can accumulate anywhere between $4,000 to $10,000 additional a year, and you annuitize your tax liens and allocate the revenue streams into your retirement account. I'm just going berserk. I'm just rushing because I got things to do. You know, nigga gonna turn up. She never gave me the right to get this bread. I was just telling my brother. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to see me be great. Cause I'm gonna be great whether they like it or not. You ain't gonna tell me what to spend my money on too. I want you to make your money and show me what you would like to spend it on. Cause who knows if today is our last day? You know, who knows? We got children. A lot of you got children. You got significant others. I've been poor for way too many years. So I know I'm overcompensating when I'm in the club. But that's my business. And it's therapeutic for me. So you do what you want to do. If you guys want to kumbaya, if you want to buy tens of thousands of dollars in oils and incense and pray all day, I fuck with you. I come in and visit you periodically and get down with some of the sessions. But that ain't about to be me most of the time. And that's the thing that makes me great, because I know how to keep it a buck, and I ain't gonna spook you guys out because I'm pro-black, because I'm conscious, because I'm a black nationalist. I gotta make sure that I don't buy a car that's a certain price. I'm never gonna be like that, and because then what happens is you're impelling the person that's teaching you to lie or live a lie. And then when you finally catch them out there living good, you feel betrayed. So let's just get the betrayal started now. I'm going to buy more nice cars. Some of the women got their body done. It's just going to be like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just being real. You know, I got to keep it real. And at least I'm real to myself, so therefore I can be real to you. That's what it's all about. You know, I don't want no one to tell me no lies. I want to tell you how I'm living, and then when you catch me, you be like, yeah, that's exactly the time he said he'd be on. I don't want you to catch me in a strip club and be like, I'm appalled. Like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I got nothing but black wives, but if I'm with my Asian thing and I'm just trying to chill, don't pull up on me, don't run down on me like I'm betraying the black community. Cause my nigga, all my wives is darker than me, exception one, but she's still sister for sure. But I'm just keeping it a buck. Like, some of you might think it's a wildlife. I feel like it should be the norm for us. We should be just doing what we choose. We shouldn't be working 24-hour cycles. Well, not 24, but most of you got 9 to 5, so that's 8 hours. If you go to work from a 9 to 5, that's 8 hours. Probably take you an hour to go to work, probably take you an hour to come back. That's 10 hours. Then you supposed to sleep, prescribed 8 hours, but most of us sleep about 6 hours. So that's 16 hours between the 9 to 5, going to work, coming back, and going to sleep. So that's 2/3 of your life you're using to contribute to someone else's development, their growth, sending their children to school, fueling their retirement accounts, their plans, their endeavors for the future. You see what I'm saying? And then you got 8 hours for yourself to read, study, pray, meditate, travel, socialize, be intimate, connect with your children, wash up, cook, clean, what have you. And then you know what you got to do? 8 hours doesn't suffice. 8 hours is not enough. The little 8 hours you have left, the 1/3 of the day you have left, then guess what? Oh, you keep driving straight. I'm sure you go. Then what you have left with the 8 hours that's left, you're going to have to cut out something. So you're going to cut out your reading, most likely. Most people cut out their reading, cut out their studying, cut out their praying, cut out their meditation. Oh, so some of you pray once a week. You go to church on Sunday. But you see how crazy that is? So when you only have 8 hours left to do what you want to do, what's going to happen is, in those 8 hours is very compromised, because you're going to have to cut off your reading, your studying, your praying, your meditating. If you're not doing that, then you don't get access to this kind of information. Most of you don't have time for, so like somebody told me the other day, well, why would you do Instagrams that's 40 minutes long? Because I'm teaching for 40 minutes. But that's not what IG's for. Well, bitch, that's what I'm using it for. Because I don't want to do all the brain dead shit all the time. You know, like, I mean, how many times you going to go on IG and see somebody with their neck broke because they want you to see their ass, and they want to see how their ass look while you're seeing how their ass look. So they got their neck back here, and it's like, yo, just stand face forward. But you know, who does that anymore? Everyone has their back to you, and they twist their neck back. Let me just come in for a 40-minute commercial break and teach you something other than you looking at somebody's ass. Like, let me be great, and let y'all be great. And hey, you know, I'm out there, I'm looking at the asses too, right? But I mean, goddamn, like, there's no diversity. Like, I'm not going to super saturate my consciousness or my mind with only images of people showing their shape, because that could turn into a lot of undisciplined acts, and it also can make you brain dead because you're not stimulating your consciousness to be great or to advance. So that's just me. If you don't want to, if you see 30 minutes on the video and you feel uncomfortable, move on. But for me, I got to be great, and my people. There's a plethora of data that I can share. I do it periodically. If I go too deep into details and go hard in the paint, you may not be able to comment. I may not be able to share the video. You may not be able to share the video. I may not be able to live stream. I be under restrictions just for teaching. So I like to pick my spots, so to speak. I haven't been posting this often, to pick my spots, because I really only want to put up educational videos. But I'm going to start posting, you know, the voluptuous women and the money stuff again, just so they could think that I'm down with the tradition. And then I could slip in these videos. Because what I can't be doing is back to back to back to back conscious videos. You feel what I'm saying? And just bear in mind that no matter how much you do your best to educate your people, there's always going to be people that's going to do their best to detract you. brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Why is it like that? Well, I put it there, but it's weird right now. It's spooky right now. Comment failed to post. Man, why do you see now? I can't even post my own shit. I can see you guys. Video froze. You see, this is. This is what I'm talking about. Well, I hope you guys got most of what I was talking about, because I see the video froze, but this is a little goofy shit I be talking about, so I'm gonna get off. There goes the sign.